Okay. I hope that Baby Joe and Becca make it over. I goofed up on my OBS and I went live not on the one I scheduled, so I'm waiting for the one that I scheduled. There we go. All right, we're synced up. Hi, Tavia. Hi, Stephanie. Let me start this again. Becca and Baby Joe, I hope they make it over. I screwed up my OBS, guys. So when I schedule a live, YouTube knows about it. Hold on. Something flying around. YouTube knows about it, and then when I go live, I open my OBS, and it will say create a new event, and I can click on the one that I scheduled. Well, I screwed that bit up. So, hi, Marcy. Hello, hello. I pray that Baby Joe and Becca make it over. I hope Baby Joe did. Yay! Right on, honey. Thank you. Well, I'm the one that screwed up, darling. So I hope Becca makes it over. I'm sure she will. She's quite savvy. Thank you for the likes so far. And I want to say, I'll start again here. Say thank you to Tavia and Stephanie and Becca and Laura for your support. I cannot express to you how much it means to me to have your support in these times. So yeah, right on, Marcy. Mercury retro shenanigans for sure. How's the sound? They said on the other stream that it sounded great, so right on. Okay. So expect me to interrupt myself a lot tonight. I've already changed my, oh, looky. Looky. No, getting them closer to the microphone won't help, Luna. There's my, do you see my kitties? Do you see my little black kitties? I had them on last week and I forgot to show them to you. You made it, Becca. Yay. So thank you, darling. If you didn't make it in time, thank you for your support. If you would like to support this channel, if you find yourself showing up here every week and going away with something useful, consider hitting one of those buttons down below that will allow you to just send me a one-time tip or donation, or to even join my Patreon at $3 a month, which is just basic. It's called Add a Witch, Luna. So if you feel like doing that, if you have $3 you can let go of, may it return to you 3 times threefold with all my blessings and thanks. So when I started putting things together tonight, I had 2 completely different decks. I had grabbed the Halloween Tarot and the Psy cards, and then it's like, no, I don't want the Halloween Tarot just yet, so I went for the Guardian of the Night, which feels very good tonight, and then, and is a gift from Tavia, thank you for that as well. And then I had Psy cards, and then in the last minute I decided to change it to Queen of the Moon since we're on new moon. So hi, Sherry, welcome. So I'm having quite a Libra new moon day. I'm changing my mind all over the place and clicking the wrong stream. But here we are, right? Here we all are. I don't really have anything to talk about tonight, so let's not talk. Let's give Mercury the old 2 in your face, as they say, and do a little smoke cleanse. So, cleanse my space and cleanse me with the spirit of this sage. By air, may you be purified, and by fire, may you be awakened and charged, and may your vision be clear. And by water and salt, may you be blessed and made whole. And then, ooh, Lord, what's going on here? It's going to be an interesting one. Let's just jump right in and invite our allies and ancestors, guides and guardians to come be with us. I offer you this fresh water, and I offer you the fire of Azrael. On this wonderful new moon, I offer this perfume to my decks and my guides, all of those who whisper in my ear. And I've already done some readings today, so things are definitely in sync. I've had, as I was testing decks and saying, would you like to be here? Would you like to be here? They were giving me incredible readings. So I think whatever I grabbed today is going to work quite well. So, one of the things I forgot to talk about when I did my new moon chart reading is the fact that Pluto also stationed direct today. Now it'll be stationary for a while because it's so slow moving. And what happens when the slowest planet of them all decides to stop dead? Let's just talk about going deep, going to the bottom of the well, getting to bedrock. All right, when Pluto stations and turns direct, remember retrograde motion means things are not really available on a conscious level. So it means things are moving underground. And Pluto is the biggest of things that move underground. And when it goes direct, it just means that things are shifting at a super fundamental level, like at the bedrock of your belief system. It's the ability to finally move something that has been stuck for quite some time. So it can bring things, big realizations into consciousness. It can make you feel like you're going through an initiatory process. And an initiatory process, in my definition, is an internal change, an internal realization that changes the way you see everything. So while everything outside objectively stays static and the same, because your view of it changes, it's a whole new perspective. It's the giant reframe, okay? So you might be having some big, huge aha moments. You might be just really feeling like something big is finally shifting a little bit and able to move forward. Certainly spell work on this new moon is going to be pretty potent. It's like dragon's blood, right? All right, let's see what we have Mars. I was half expecting Pluto to show up there. Gemini in the 8th house, where there's Pluto's house and the Mars, the co-ruler of Scorpio. So that's pretty interesting. So this week, let's key into the energy of Mars. What is the energy of Mars? It's a great big boner. It's what we want, really want. It's that desire, that root chakra level desire where you almost can't, where you're ready to do bad things to get what you want. That's Mars. That is Mars energy. And it's also motivation, it's action, it's go, it's the gas pedal, right? So let's key into Mars energy this week, and with this new moon, look at where we can step on the gas and get things moving forward. And interestingly, I may have said this last week, but once Mercury went retro, it seems like a lot of things have been moving suddenly for me that were just kind of hanging in limbo. So very interesting retro. Gemini, the energy of Gemini kind of vibes with the energy of Libra as well. Gemini is duality. It is raw data, okay? Facts. Just the facts, ma'am, you know? And it's communication of those facts, communication of information, relaying information. So it is social, but more in a communicative sense than a community sense. Libra is more community. Gemini is communication. These are both air signs. One's ruled by Mercury, one's ruled by Venus. So there you see the difference. So let's look at how we can move forward, how we can step on the gas as far as information that needs to go places, things that we need to fill out and turn in, things that we need to say to people. Just talking about motivation to finally get some things said that need to be said. Now let's look at 8th house energy. This is the energy of magic. So perfect for a new moon, stationary Pluto, and a new moon where, hello, Mars is conjuncting that new moon. Moon, Mars, and Sun are all at exactly 13 degrees of Libra. So this is an energized Libra new moon. Libra new moons can be kind of placid. You know, they don't have that oomph, but because they're, you know, Libra is always kind of waiting on you. Well, what about you? Okay, I'll wait. I don't have to, you know, Libra has a tough time pushing themselves out ahead of other people. But that Mars in there with the new moon says this week we can really, you know, light a fire under something, light a fire under ourselves and what we want to get going. The key is on communication, but the eighth house talks about deep things, talking about big, deep things. This is a great time to get insight on your own inner workings, your own inner processes. Looking at how you get your needs met. Eighth house is, you know, the classical definition is other people's resources, other people's money. But I look at it as how you get your needs met, how other people support you financially or in any real way. And because it is a water house, it's Scorpio's house, we are talking about the emotional here. And ruled by Scorpio, how do we first learn to get our needs met? We manipulate for them. We learn when I cry, somebody comes, hopefully. I didn't learn that when I was an infant, but hopefully we learn when I'm upset, someone comes. When I have a need, someone comes. So eighth house shows what gets instilled very early on when we ask for help. So I guess a question to ask here is, are you able to ask for help? And maybe this Mars in Gemini in the 8th says it is time to communicate what we want and what we need in terms of things that we need the help of other people or the cooperation of other people to bring to fruition. Okay? So let's put these guys up here and see what we've got. Okay, I see an interesting message there. Goodness gracious, hold on one second here. I want to express my sympathies to, I fear the true God, Yahweh. I pray for you too, dear. Let's put it that way. And let's see. And bounce. Okay, so Yahweh is gone now. This is what will happen if anybody comes in and tries to do this to us, because that just doesn't have any place here. So hope you got the message first that yes, I pray for you too, and for your eyes to be open. So let's get going. Shall we? Guardian of the Night Tarot, MJ Cullinane. She's author of the Crow Tarot. She also has one called the Grimalkin Tarot, which I cannot get my hands on right now. That, ooh, would I like to have it. Okay, so let's do a little, thank you, Baby Joe. Yes, hold people in their prayers. If you gotta come and be hateful, I don't have any more to say about that. All right, let's go with our Libras on the Libra new moon. Okay, hold on one second. Come on down into the body, Luna. All right, for our Libras, let's take 2 from Tarot Guardians of the Night and then 1 from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. The sun, oh my goodness, the sun came up like in everything. It came up when I was looking at the Halloween tarot. It came up like 2 or 3 times from this one. And amazing. Okay, 1 here for Libras. All right. So we have the sun and the 4 of Swords here. All right, Libra, some things are turning around for you this week. The sun comes out. You can see things in the clear light of day. And that allows you to take a break and take a rest. Okay? The 4 of Swords says it's time to kind of just recover, recoup. And on the Queen of the Moon, we get resilience. which is waning gibbous moon. That's not really material here. I'm just going to go with the keyword. So talking about resilience, looking at this person with a basket of, I mean, it looks like snakes almost on their back, bent double with this burden. So Libra, you've been carrying a burden for a while. It's time to lay that burden down this week, even if it's just temporary. It's time to lay the burden down so that you can rest and recoup and experience your own resilience. The sun here says it's okay. Everything's okay. All right. So we want to bask in that sunlight. I mean, it's fall here. It was 80 today. We're in October. We're having a warm fall, and it doesn't look like it's really going to dip down anytime soon. So the sun here just says rest in some optimism, rest in some hope, rest in a feeling that all is going to work out, and all you need to do is take that time for yourself in order to bounce back. So what I'm seeing here, particularly with the sun coming out, is whatever setback you may be experiencing, you will bounce back from this. All right? Do not let yourself get weighed down by ideas of this is going to be permanent. Oh no, what am I ever going to do? You know, just this feeling of I've gotten taken down. I want you to rest yourself and rest in that optimism and kind of, you know, what I'm seeing in my mind right now is just a visualization of the sun and the warmth of the sun and feeling that light kind of coming all around you and feeling it healing you, feeling it energizing you, and feeling your body respond to that with just this refresh, this bouncing back. All right. So I'm moving myself to the middle here. There we go. So what we don't want to do is just get bogged down in any idea of, oh, I've been kicked down and I'm going to be here for a while. Okay. So trust, rest in some optimism, rest in trusting yourself that you're going to be bouncing back from this, and let your own body show you the resilience that's inside you, your own body, your own spirit. All right. We can bounce back. All right, Libra. Marcy listening to us with her chai on a spring night. Oh, you know, I love that, the global nature of this small little community here, because it really does give me another perspective. You know, we are where we are watching the leaves come down, but I think frequently, because one of the readers I watch is from Australia, and Revealing Light Tarot, Marianne, and I just love her. And, you know, I always think about what's happening down on her end as we're doing the opposite up here, and it's quite something. It really helps you understand that it is a big wheel, and all the possibilities exist on that wheel at the same time. You can only be at one place on the wheel at any one time, you know, but whatever else exists on that wheel also exists at the same time. And that kind of is a fundamental understanding of magic, that what I'm after already exists, and I just need to put myself in the place where it exists and, you know, reach out to access it. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, that's what I want to do. Okay. Alrighty. Now, Scorpio. We have the Nine of Cups and the King of Wands. Look at these beautiful cards. Oops. Okay. We'll take that one. Wisdom. All righty. So 9 of Cups, the wish card here, Scorpio. Boy, with Pluto, your ruling planet, stationary direct right now, time to tap into that depth and that strength of Scorpio, transformative, magical power. So 9 of Cups says, frame what you want. What is it you're after this week? And anytime we're on the waxing moon, and, you know, we have the waxing moon until it hits the full. So the new moon is particularly potent because we've got sun and moon conjunct in the sky. But at any time during the waxing moon, you can do spell work to, you know, make things happen, for things that you want to increase. So formulate what it is you want. King of Wands talks about in the creative realm, in the professional realm, tapping into the copious skills that you have. So let's pause for a moment and remind yourself of the crazy skills that you have, Scorpio. You have, and this is true for everyone, for every single one of you, you have a unique set of skills. And you haven't just learned them from school and from job experience. You've learned them every step of the way, all throughout your life. And so I think it's a good thing to pause and check out that list of skills, you know, whether they are just so innate that you just don't even realize you have them, or that you're any different from anybody else, or whether they are things that you have worked long and hard to acquire. You have this incredible set that uniquely suits you to what you're here to do, right? So the King of Wands says, let's dial into that purpose, that spiritual purpose, that creative purpose. What are you here to create? What are you here to add to the world? That's what you're focusing in on, Scorpio. And wisdom is the card over here. So along with the skills, I mean, part of that skill set is the wisdom to use them, right? I mean, if you've got skills that you just kind of learned from school and from job, those could very well be just kind of surfacey skills. The deeper ones are the ones that you've learned through your living experience, through the rough times you've been through. I was talking about this last week, that we don't learn big lessons from when everything's just fine, you know. We might learn little things like how to cook something new, or how to, you know, we might bring in those new kind of surface skills. But when we are put through the Play-Doh fun factory of life, as we have been lately, that's when we learn the wisdom. That's when we connect the dots. That's when we really go, ah, I get it. That's when we have those initiatory experiences that I was talking about. So Scorpio, tapping into that wisdom and that ultimate life purpose, it's time to frame that into a wish, frame that into a spell, and launch it this week. All right? Hello, Laura. Welcome, my dear. A cup of I love jasmine tea. It's water night for me. Coffee sometimes will knock me out. I can drink coffee in the evening and sleep, no problem, depending on the evening. Tea, caffeine in tea just really hits me much harder than coffee for some reason, especially green tea. So it's water night for me. Right. Here we go with Sagittarius. Here comes the sun again. So the sun has something to say to us tonight, folks. And it's new moon. You know, we focus on the moon at the new and full moon, but it's the dance between the sun and the moon. So the sun is really pushing himself to the fore here tonight. And we have the sun and the hanged man. Wow. Okay, let's see here. Fruition. Okay. So the sun and the hanged man talks about success that we've had to wait for. Success that it has not entirely been in our hands to manifest. Okay. Sorry, I gotta rearrange the fucking furniture. You guys know me. Tavia's laughing. All right. Um, so, Hanged Man in the center here. And you know me too. I need symmetry. So let's look at fruition in the middle. Fruition says that there's something that I've planted, there are seeds that I've planted, that I've nurtured, that I've watched grow, that I have done what it takes in order for them to grow. I've cared for them, I've warmed them, you know, in the light of joy, in the light of empowerment. The sun says, I am empowered to do this thing, you know, and it's coming to fruition. Things are bearing fruit now. So even though we are in, you know, we're now officially in the waning part of the year, the dark half of the year, the sterile half of the year, it gets kicked off with harvest. So what's coming to fruition? What have you just been waiting and waiting for? And here it comes. The Hanged Man says that I align myself with spirit in order to bring this to fruition. Okay, hold on one second. All right, the Hanged Man also says that if you're thinking things aren't coming to fruition right now, you just need to change your perspective. You need to change how you're looking at it, because there is indeed something coming to fruition. It's coming into the light of day. You've been waiting for a long time for it, and it's right here in material form in your hands. If you're still thinking it's not, then you need to do a reframe and look at things in a different, from a different point of view, from a different context, and you will indeed see what is coming to fruition. And this is Harvest Moon, is the moon phase here. So awesome. All right, let me catch up here. Peppermint tea with Tavia and oil pop. Cinnamon cola, herbs, green tea, and woo! Oh my God, Olipop. Olipop tea. I have never heard of that, Becca. But I find oil pop very amusing and gross. So thanks for that. Okay. So yeah, this was, who were we with? Sag here? I believe we were with Sag. So Sag, harvest is happening. It's coming to fruition. If you're finding that it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be, just change your point of view and let it fall into your hands this week. Okay? And I love this Guardian of the Night Tarot. I really do. Okay, Cappies. Oh, looky there. We pulled out the Hanged Man again. The World and the Hanged Man. Okay, heavy hitters coming out. Interesting. Resistance. Ooh, this is an interesting one. All right, so we've got resistance here. For you, Capricorn, all right, something's getting some pushback this week. The World card on one side talks about completion, bringing something to an end. But it's not just an end, it's completion. It's the end of the whole journey, all right? The Death card is an end, but it can be something that ends abruptly or ends before, you know, you're ready for it to be done. It can be a sudden thing. It can be a, you know, it's a final thing for sure. But the World talks about something coming to completion, and it really, next to resistance here, is talking about your authority and your clout, Capricorn. The World is that all-access pass to your favorite band's concert. right? Where you can go like in the bathroom with them and shit. So not go in the bathroom with them and shit, and shit, you know. Anyway, this talks about the authority that you carry, the power that you bear, Capricorn, the access that you have to whatever you need. And all right, the Hanged Man. Hold on. These are kind of playing for me here. All right. As I was saying about the Hanged Man before, it talks about surrender. Hanged Man says, I acknowledge the places where I don't have power. Okay, so here we go. Here's the all access pass. This is the sphere of your influence, Capricorn. This is outside of your sphere of influence. And resistance here says we might be resisting where we have no influence. And this, okay, this is the message for you, Capricorn. You're having a bit of a tangle, separating the things that are under your influence and from the things that are not, okay? Because Capricorn, you do have that sense of authority, you do have that sense of power and access. So you feel like, I should be able to control all of this. I should be able to do something about all of this. But this week you need to look at those things that are not within your control and stop resisting that concept. There are things that are not within your control. And rather than getting frustrated about it and resisting that and pushing up against a stone, Valerie June, there's a woman named Valerie June, and she is an amazing musician, and she has a song called Pushing Up Against a Stone, and it's fabulous. And it really talks about that futile effort. So this week, Capricorn, you could be futilely resisting accepting that there are things that you can't control. What do you do with that information? You reframe. Okay, if I can't control this, then I turn my attention to the things that I can control. And by working on these things, how can I change the thing I'm trying to change without having the control over this particular thing, if that makes any sense. But yeah, the resistance in the middle just says that Capricorn, we're pushing against something here that it doesn't matter how hard you push, you're not going to change it. There are things you can control and things you cannot. So draw that circle on the page, write all the things that are under your control and the things that are bugging you that are out of your control, put it outside that circle and call in your helpers. This is where you call in your guides and your guardians and your allies and your ancestors and your helpers and say, come on in here and you know, help me work on the things that are under my control. Oop. Hold on, my daughter's calling me. Hey, I'm on my live stream right now.
Oh, well, I just wanted to show you I was cleaning my altar off.
Yeah? She's cleaning her altar.
So for the last full moon, I told you about that money apple that I did.
Yeah.
And we've been having problems with like bugs and fruit flies and things like that in the kitchen.
Okay.
So I went to take the apple off my altar.
Thanks for being patient, you guys. Yeah.
Number one, it's not stocked at all, and it's been up there like since the last full moon.
Cool.
It's still completely hard.
Yeah.
That's that, and not a single, no rot, no mold, not a single fly on it. Nothing.
Sweet. All right. Well, I got to get back to making readings.
So, yeah, I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
I'm going to toss this out back. Have
Okay.
a
All right. I love you. Bye.
You too.
Okay, so she was telling me about it. She did, I don't know if you could hear her or not. She did an apple spell at the full moon, and they've been having problems with fruit flies in their kitchen. And she has an altar way up on top of a shelf because she's got cats, 4 cats, and they're bad boys. So she had this apple that she carved things into, and it was sitting up on her altar. It has not rotted in any way, and this was an orchard apple, and it didn't attract the fruit flies. It didn't. So she's tossing it out back. But yeah, interesting, very interesting. All right. Yeah, Becca. I was going to tell her Becca says hi even before you said that because I knew you would. Okay, Aquarius. Oh, I love these cards. Three of Wands, Eight of Swords. Since I'm doing it this way, let's just do it that way, huh? Nourishment. Okay, Aquarius, let's see about nourishment here. We have the Three of Wands, which talks about something really kicking off, something starting to pay off, some creative, the responsibility you've taken, the actions that you've taken, the things that you've done are starting to pay off for you. Ships are coming in. And then we have the Eight of Swords here. All right. Where we're feeling kind of stuck. So the Eight of Swords always carries the reminder that whatever trap you feel yourself in is of your own making. So Aquarius, we really need to let ourselves out. And give me a second here to pull these kind of disparate energies together. I see the bird carrying a stick here, carrying a wand. And so that kind of gives me the idea of building a nest. It sort of looks like there's maybe a male and a female, and we're building something with someone. Interesting that we've got a full moon here and a new moon here. Hold on. Nourishment. Okay, and a new moon here. Look at the crescents. Okay, so let's just focus on that center card, Aquarius. This week, pay attention to what you're putting into your body, how your body is responding to it, what you're craving. Looking at what your mind needs. Okay, being an air sign, the state of your mind is pretty much everything. So look this week at what you can do to nourish your mind. What kind of just looking at some new things to kind of fire your mind in a new way. I know that I fall into ruts like at night, rewatching Buffy for the 57th time and doing things just that are comfort food, But I lately have been reaching out like for some new books and doing some reading to let in some new information, to lighten up my mind, to nourish my mind. So think about nourishing your mind, Aquarius, in a way that's going to get you out of a mindset that's keeping you stuck and trapped. All right, you've got things to do. Three of Wands says there's something I want to build here. I started building it, and then I get a sense of interruption. And so then I've been feeling like I'm kind of in a trap. But time to examine your thoughts and ask, does this mindset nourish me? Do these thoughts nourish me? How am I talking to myself? Am I talking to myself like somebody I love, or am I saying mean things to myself? So time to bring into consciousness the thought processes that are happening, that are keeping you feeling like I'm trapped and I'm stuck, when the truth is you can fly free anytime you want. You can take flight anytime you want. This card also has that little nuance of perhaps help, that you want to talk to somebody else about this and ask for their help and their insight, as far as just kind of being good to yourself this week and really nourishing yourself mentally so that you can take care of your projects and do something with joy. It's kind of like the new moon reset button. We all need a refresh every once in a while and a vacation. However you can give yourself that this week, do that thing, Aquarius. I'm still thinking about that weird person that jumped in. I just, I think about what exactly do they think they're going to do? Do they think everybody here is going to go, oh, I've been so wrong, and take off running? Oh, yes, flying back to God and Jesus. I just don't understand. Oh, well. Okay. Pisces. Ooh, we have Justice. And the Nine of Wands. Okay, look at the porcupine. Her images are so beautiful. Look at them. Look at the critters. Bats and foxes and porcupines and beautiful flowers. Action, Pisces. Okay. So Justice, of course, talks about bringing things into balance, about making sure everything is fair and just. Nine of Wands talks about setting your boundaries. Look at the porcupine and look at the quills up there and the fox on the other side. So you need to take action this week, Pisces, and finally set some boundaries that you can knock on. Rather than boundaries that you can go and blow them away and come on in. All right. Had an experience in the last few weeks with someone that just was absolutely clueless as far as boundaries go. And anytime someone would set one, they would just make it their mission to bust through. Because you've set that boundary, I must bust through. And so it's really important to become aware, first of all, of what the boundary situation is in your life. Do you need to set a boundary, or is someone else setting one that you are not recognizing? I think it's you that needs to set one because of this action card in the middle. Okay, so it is, you're not being mean. What you need to know, Pisces, is you're not being mean by saying no. Unless you say no, motherfucker, that's kind of mean, right? But you can say no. I'm sorry, I can't do that. That doesn't work for me this week. Thank you. You can do it without apologizing. You can do it kindly, and it's not mean to say no and set a boundary. Nine of Wands here says that it may need to be a pointy boundary, that this boundary that you set quite likely will need some reinforcing. So what you need to remember here, Pisces, is the boundary doesn't become invalid or disappear the first time somebody decides to push against it, the first time somebody neglects to respect it. If they neglect to respect it, you state yourself again. So here's the next thing. You don't have to get into a fight with someone if they bash your boundary. You can just state it again. No, I'm sorry. I'm not doing that now. And you can use the exact same words you used the first time. It keeps it neat and clean and saves you a lot of wear and tear. And then if they don't respect that boundary, you have another decision to make. But this week, it is time for you to really take an active stance. Look at the full moon here. Time for you to acknowledge where your boundaries are being disrespected and take the action of setting a boundary that sticks. Okay? Remember, you have no control over the other person. You have no control over them. All you can do is state and restate your boundaries, and if they choose not to respect them, then you just have to make the boundaries more solid and more emphatic, right? You can do it, Pisces. I know you can. You are the boundaryless wonder, and it's because of that lack of boundaries that you have such compassion. But it also is because of that lack of boundaries that you are frequently a doormat, and we don't like that. We don't want you to be a doormat. And you can have strong boundaries and still be compassionate and connected and empathetic. All those things can exist at the same time. Okay. Thank you for the likes, everybody. I appreciate that. Okay, Aries. Wahoo, wahoo. Okay, the World. And the Knight of Wands. Oh, look at the Wolverine. Woo, baby. Aries just got real happy. Abundance. All right. Abundance in the World. So you've got a lot of choice in front of you this week, Aries. There's abundance, and the World says you can choose what you want to do with it. But the Knight of Wands here, look at that Wolverine. Talk about action. And, you know, that's very much your card, Aries, is that Knight of Wands. He's fiery. He's on the move. He's you know, reactive on it. Hold on, I'm reading a message. Ah, yes. So that was regarding the person that I booted. Yeah, Tavia, I absolutely agree. Yeah, it's true. You have people that don't have like this inner reference point, and it's so they have to install something kind of fictional. But when you don't have this inner reference point, you project everything outwards. So yes, I agree, and you certainly know, my dear. Okay, so back to Aries here. This is Hunter Moon. This is like the November full moon. But let's see. Aries, I think it's just time for you to have a hell of a good time this week. The Knight of Wands says you're going to be in motion, possibly traveling somewhere, possibly getting out of Dodge for a good old time. Knight of Wands to me is the card that talks about moving. So you could be moving out, somebody moving into your house, change within the residence, change of residence, or a travel card. The Wolverine in this deck really shows somebody that is protective, very protective, and not to be crossed. So Aries, your bad self is going to be to the fore this week. But I think we focus on these other two, on the World and abundance. It just says that you have what you need this week to have a good time, to be out, going and doing. Of course, you're going to keep yourself safe during that time. So, but use your wherewithal to just have some fun. I think that's pretty much all I got for you, Aries. Not a big, deep message there. Just a good time. And I know that Darcy's going to be laughing when she hears that one. Okay. Taurus. And Tavia, yes, in more detail now, their inability to find the divine within. And this is the paradigm. I mean, they are told that God is not indwelling. My kids went to a church thing, summer camp thing with some friends, and it was just like an afternoon thing with neighbors when they were little. And they came home, of course, and reported everything to me, and I was just like shocked and aghast. But great conversations, because you know they were already pagan and know that God is inside them. So, but they set up this platform, and everybody was standing like on the porch or something, and then they set this platform out in the middle of the grass, and they were told that they needed to get from the porch to the platform without touching the grass. And of course, the kids are standing there going, I can't do that. And then they were told that's just the way it is with God. You can never get there. You can never get to God. And I thought that was just heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. So, yeah. You know, talking about, okay, God's our Father, and, you know, we're the children of God. And your father has abandoned you, and you can never get him. You can never get to him. And you don't have a mom, so, you know, go through your life bereft and angry. Doesn't that explain a lot? Jesus. Jesus. Okay. Where am I at, Taurus? Taurus. Okay, we got the Nine of Cups and the Five of Cups. Ooh. And we have Wisdom coming up again. All right. So for some reason, when I put these two cards down, I had the line come through my head, if wishes were horses, beggars could ride. Even beggars could ride. And, you know, I saw the wish card and then the Five of Cups here. And there's a couple other little, thank God went out for cigarettes. There's a little, couple other little things. One of them is, you know, the old if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, every day'd be Christmas. And then that's not quite about wishes, but, you know, ifs are kind of like wishes. And then the cruelest one of all, one of my dear friend's mother used to tell them when they were a child and would say, I wish blah, 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 blah. And their mom would say, wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up faster. That mom was a Virgo, by the way. So I'm just looking at this, you know, what is the substance of wishes? The wisdom here, as far as what exactly is a wish, and what about wishes that don't come to fruition? How do we feel, you know, when we have something that we dearly want and desire and it doesn't come to fruition? We don't get our wish. First of all, wisdom tells us that, yeah, just wishing doesn't make it so. Right? We have to take action. So this is where we move wishing from the realm of just, you know, oh, please, God, as I wish, blah, 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 into a spell that really programs what we want, the outcome that we want in our unconscious mind so that our unconscious will take us there. And also, you know, where we have a plan, that the difference between a wish and a plan is a calendar. It's a date book. It's saying, here's when I will do these things. So wisdom tells us that when we really wish we had something, there's, you know, we want to make that emotional investment in it, which really makes it powerful. But then we need to make the material investment. Remember, the magician card, and the best image of the magician is the one where he's got his left hand up and his right hand down. So the receiving hand says, I align with spirit, I bring the energy through my body, and then pointing down to the earth, I manifest it. So whatever we have living in our head, the wish that we have, the outcome that we would like to see, we have to bring it through the body in order to earth it, to ground it, to manifest it, to clothe it in the material, in substance, so that we can put our hand to it. What does that mean? We have to speak it out of our mouths. We have to write it on paper with our hand. We have to make it, create it, drive there, go to work, whatever it is, we have to bring it through the body to make it so, to make it live on the material plane. So I'm seeing here, Taurus, that it might be time to do some weeding in your wish garden, because there are things here that you're not feeling the same about, or things that you've been disappointed in, that maybe you're feeling that emotional investment waning. The wisdom card is a waning moon here, so you're feeling your enthusiasm waning, and maybe some disappointment and even a little bit of grief creeping in about it. And then turn your attention here, look at the moons together here, towards what it is that you really do want, and bringing that out of the realm of pure wish into a plan. If you really want to see something happen, stop wishing, you know, the wish in one hand and shit in the other. Stop wishing and shit in the other. No. How else can I mangle this metaphor here? I don't know. But it's time to just stop wishing, Taurus, and look at making it into a plan, and at least identify what the next step is, even the first step or the next step. That's your job this week. through your wisdom, saying, okay, this is not really realistic right now, or I don't really feel like I want it anymore. I've lost my emotional drive. Let's look at what it is I really do want, refine that, and then make it into a plan. Okay. We are at Gemini. I need both feet on the ground here. Oh, got the 2 on the 1 pull. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune and 4 of Cups. Attraction. Okay. All right, we had 5 of Cups last time. Now we've got 4 of Cups, talking about that kind of just internal, that sort of dissatisfaction, that low-grade, grinding dissatisfaction that we have every day of life. And on the other side here, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which when that comes up, it says things are shifting, things are turning around. So let's turn this kind of dissatisfaction, Gemini, outward. We're now on a waxing moon again. Take this sort of internal, just sort of this grind, you know, I'm just not, you know, just not happy, just not feeling great, whatever it is. And look at maybe what you're putting out, what you're attracting to yourself. All right? Remember that your energy field is magnetic. And just like you can take a magnet and stroke it on a steel pin and magnetize that pin, that's kind of the way it works. You have your magnetic field, and what you bump up against, you magnetize in that way, and it's drawn to you, consciously or unconsciously. And this is talking about unconsciously. Unconsciously, when we kind of get habitual about our dissatisfaction, to where our energy field is really magnetized that way, then we keep kind of attracting those unsatisfying things to us. And then it becomes sort of a self-fulfilling negative prophecy of, yeah, all I ever get is this crap. Why bother? And so that we get into that negative wheel, right? That cycle. So this is saying, pay attention to what you're attracting to you. How is your energy field magnetized this week, Gemini? And how can you adjust that magnetic field so that you can turn the wheel and start attracting to you the things that are satisfactory, the things that will give you that feeling of satisfaction with life? And it's also good to just acknowledge that we can't be satisfied all the time. You know, the dissatisfaction is what makes the satisfying times even better. But sometimes, you know, those times can be so long. You can go through these yearly periods, you know, like you've got a time of year where you're going gangbusters, and then there's another long period of time where you just are not feeling it, you know. So that in those times, that dissatisfaction can get habitual. So it's time to kind of look at how you can shake things up, Gemini. What are you attracting to you that is not satisfactory? And how can you change your thought patterns so that you remagnetize this whole energetic field and get that wheel turning the other way? Good question, right? Okay, that's your task. Right. Now, the Empress got left on the table there. Oop. All right. Go in the easy way, and we get 4 of Cups again. And the Empress did want to stay on the table, so I'm going to pull her out. Hold on, now I got to find her. criminy. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, there she is. All right. All right, Cancer. Self-love. Looky there. All right. So look, we have the 4 and the 8 of Cups that came out, but the Empress wanted out first. I'm going to stick her right here on the card of self-love because the Empress knows how to love everyone, including herself, and she knows that she has to love herself first or she will have none to give to others. So the Empress staying on the table there said, Cancer, you need to know that you got to be number 1 on the list of love and make sure that you feel it this week. You love yourself in ways that you actually feel it. 4 of Cups, again, talking about that dissatisfaction, that just sort of low grade, you know. And then 8 of Cups on this side says part of self-love involves where I am not going to send my love anymore. This could be you're not going to send it there anymore because I have no more to give. Because when I start loving myself properly, I find that I don't really want to send it there. I don't have it to give there anymore, right? So loving yourself properly can mean walking away from situations and people that are soul suckers, the ones that will suck you dry, right? The ones that are just that ever swirling toilet. No matter how much you pour into it, it goes straight down the hole until they jiggle the handle. I don't know. Again, I am definitely guilty of manhandling some metaphors tonight. I apologize for that, but you know. Okay, so 8 of Cups just says time to walk away, time to recognize where all of your wonderful, loving, nurturing energy is just not appreciated, and it doesn't give back to you when it's like that. You know, here we have a wheel. What I give out returns to me, but there are situations where what you give out just makes them want more and they pull it right out of you. So this week is where you really need to look at all of the things and people that you're putting your sending your love out to, and where it may be not warranted anymore. All right. And this doesn't necessarily mean just people. We have things that we emotionally invest in that just don't turn out to pay us back the way we want them to. You know, I thought this was going to be a lot of fun. Turns out it's not really a lot of fun, not really what I wanted to invest my emotional energy in. Make a change, right? Make a change. That is part of self-love this week. Right? All right, Cancer. I feel like these are quick messages tonight. Last week was such a long one. And it just depends. You know, it depends on the decks. Some decks are very succinct. Some, you know, I got to stand on my head and spit nickels to try to pull the information out. But these 2 decks seem to be working quite well together. So I'm glad I changed my mind at the last minute. In true Libra fashion. Okay. Elbow deep in guacamole. Woohoo! All right, there's one. The Star. Leo mio. All right, you're welcome, Mercy. The Star and the Queen of Swords. Ooh. Okay. It's funny because when I do readings for my big 3, I'm usually talking about somebody else, and then about halfway through I'll go, oh, I'm talking to me too, and then it really clicks, and I go, oh yeah, that's true. I'm glad I can give you some laughs tonight, you guys. Darkness. Ooh, goodness gracious. Long night moon. Okay, Leo. The Star, the Queen of Swords, and Darkness. All right. So, looking at these two together. Darkness, we've certainly hit rock bottom with something. We've hit kind of a dark night of the soul. We've hit the end point of something that is just burning down to a cinder. Okay? The light waning, burning down to a cinder, and the light goes away. What happens when the light goes away there is we have to rely on hope and inspiration. And that's what the Star brings us. So we don't have the light of the sun here. On a dark night, we don't have moonlight. This is like a lunar eclipse here. We have no moonlight to light our way in this dark night. So what lights the way is the light of the stars. Subtle, much more subtle energy, much smaller light. So here you might find yourself really searching for those grains of hope, for something to hope for, searching for the blessing that is deeply disguised in a situation. All right? The Queen of Swords here talks about the familiarity of where you are right now with this. Queen of Swords says you've been through some shit. She says, I have been battered and bruised, twined and twisted, as Valerie June says. And sometimes you've put on armor because of it. So one of the things you need to ask yourself is the armor warranted right now? Can I take that armor off? And I want to validate for you that you can, because your inner strength is so profound. All right? The armor is when we are feeling like we can't defend ourselves. We can't support ourselves. We can't set our boundaries. So we have to slap this armor on, which shuts everything out. This is talking about maybe taking that armor off, looking deeply into these past wounds, and learning from them, going into that darkness to learn from them, so that we can keep the armor off, so that we can heal and not have to be defended anymore, so that hope can come in, so that we can find the tiny points of hope in a situation. So Leo, this week, whatever you're feeling hopeless about, I want to tell you that there is still hope. There's always a way to find hope, and that's what the Star is saying. And if you find yourself completely without hope, I invite you to rest in that for a moment. And resting in that darkness, resting in that place of no hope, I invite you to connect with the divinity inside of you, and nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Just to kind of give up the grasping after, I need to be okay, I need to be through this, and to be able to just rest in that particular darkness until the lights come on again. All right? That's a tall order. I know it's a tall order. We don't like to sit still when we're uncomfortable. But Leo, this week, it may be time to do just that, to sit still. And here comes another story, you guys. When I was married to my last husband, and he had just abandoned me and my 1.5-year-old. And I was going through summertime and trying to find my way out of a situation. I was in a place that I couldn't afford to live, and I couldn't afford to leave, and I was just kind of stuck. And I was asking and doing spell work and asking and praying and please, oh please, oh please, oh please, you know, and nothing was happening, just nothing. And, you know, I kept asking for help. And so finally, I got to the place of going, okay, fine. And I remember going out, doing a ritual, and going out with my chalice, which was steaming with hot mulled cider. And I would hold it up to the full moon and hold it up so that the moon would go into the cup, you know, and then I would drink the wine. And I went out, and when I said my prayers, I said, okay, fine. There's no help for me right now. Then I'm not asking for anything except the strength to do this on my own. I'll do this all by myself, thanks. I ask only for the strength to do that. And as soon as I gave up waiting for them, everything shifted. There's a song I wrote called Into the Night, where it's that dark night of the soul where you're bargaining, you know, bargaining, oh please, if I do this, will you just get me out of this shit, you know? And the goddess talks back and she says, where's your courage, my pet? We don't throw out the net till you're falling. So as long as you're keeping yourself in this safe place and not risking, what do you need help with? You're sitting still quite well on your own, thank you. But when you stand up and you decide to take that step off the edge of the cliff and take a risk, take a leap of faith, the net comes out. All right, Virgo. Patience, okay. And 2 sevens, look at that. 7 of Cups and 7 of Pentacles. All right. So, interesting that the Pentacles are over here and the Cups are over here. Because the Cups talk about creating something on a mental level. The Pentacles talk about the manifestation of that thing. So here we have a harvest. Here, Virgo, you are gathering in the things you've manifested this year. You have made a plan, executed it, invested your energy over time. This is something over time that has taken effort, and you see the manifestation of it. It's taken effort and patience. And then on this side, it says, now what's next? Okay? All right, hold on a second. You know, I kind of do want to switch these, but no, I'm not going to manipulate the answers that they give me. Okay. So, looking at what came to fruition and how it came to fruition and the part that patience played in all of this is what really counts here. Because now you're looking at some new things, Virgo. What is it that I want to do next? Where do I want to invest my time? What am I starting right now? You could even be looking at what all of this has meant to you, the things that you're harvesting. What does this all mean to me? What am I going to do with this? You know? So you can look at things after the fact. Okay, here we go. So before you launch something new, Virgo, look at what you've already manifested and spend some time thinking it over. Be patient. Okay, how did that come about? Really looking back at your process, as you do, Virgo. Take a look at it from an emotional standpoint and say, okay, I really, poured out a lot of energy here. Was that worth it? Did that work in the way I wanted it to? Did it pay me back in kind for what I invested in it? Was it as satisfying as I thought it was going to be? Did it manifest in exactly the way I thought it would? And if it didn't, and I don't like that, how do I tinker and adjust? So this week, Virgo, it's time to just rest, be patient, and think about, if you're looking at the next thing I'm going to launch, the first thing you need to do is look back at where you've been. Because when you harvest the information from that, it's going to make the next thing that you launch easier. All right? But patience is called for this week. Don't jump into anything new, is what I'm going to say there. Okay, and now I'm going to read Becca's messages. Something just happened to me. Right on, honey. Yep, that's exactly it. When you're, and I'm saying this because I'm terribly guilty of it. When the work that you're doing towards something is whining, Please, oh please, can I have it? Please, please, please. When we are doing that, when we are asking, please, can I have this? What you're saying is, it doesn't exist in me. It's out there somewhere and I lack it. Remember that you wouldn't even want the thing unless it's already part of you. That's a fact. Spend all the time thinking about that you want, but it is a fact. If you want something, it's because it is already part of you. It's already part of your makeup. You already have a feeling that this is part of my destiny. And you just need to see it manifest. Okay. Virgo, that was the last one. Holy shit. I snuck up on myself there. All right, well, let's just do a reading for the collective then. And let's do it the same way. Let's just do it the very same way. Okay, for all of us. What do we need to know this week? I'm going to take 3 from this deck. And yes, they are beautiful decks and they work. They're like exactly the same size almost. And they work really well together. Okay. How do we use our energies this week to the greatest benefit for ourselves and everything and everyone around us? Okay. They want me to take the top one. All right, let me pull this out of the way. We get the 2 of Wands, the Emperor in the middle, and the 2 of Pentacles. All right, that's nice and balanced. I like that. All right. The 2 of Wands is about just starting a plan, looking at everything that you have, looking out and being ready to begin the plan. The 2 of Pentacles talks about juggling resources. So we've got material resources and we have energetic resources on one side and the other. The Emperor in the middle says it's decision time. It's time to execute. It's time to step into authority and make something out of what we have here. And I just managed to take the top one there. I didn't even think about it. And we get will. So, will coming right below the Emperor here. Time to fucking get busy, you guys, this week. All right, you know, Libra new moon is very, can be very placid, but remember that Mars conjuncted this new moon. It happened at 7:05 this morning in the Eastern time zone, so we're already past that. Mars and the Sun are still conjunct, and they will be. For another day or more. So the Emperor and will, it's like, just stop ruminating about it. Just stop harrying it in your mind. Stop letting your inner child whine away and pull you off of taking action. Okay? Remember Mars up here, Mars in Gemini. So we had Mars show up here again. This week really is about getting moving on some stuff. And boy, I'm hearing this loud and clear. I've been just sort of not able to really get going on some things. I am feeling the shift. The Emperor says it's time to apply your will to things. I will do that. Not I can do that or I ought to do that. You know, forget the shoulds. But I will do that. I want it, and I will. And for me, what this looked like is I've got some pretty odious paperwork to get through. And it is of a very emotional nature. And so I've been avoiding it like the plague. And I've been allowing my emotions to take over. As I go into this stuff, I'm having emotional reactions about it, emotional stuff coming up from the past. And it just makes me like, oh, I can't, I can't do it. I can't, ugh. But what I did today is say, and I recognize overwhelm. I have a lot of overwhelm issues. Overwhelm says I'm trying to do everything at once rather than doing things a step at a time. So what I did today is say, all I have to do is spend a half an hour on it every day, because I can get a lot done in that half hour. And if I say, all I have to do is spend a half an hour, I will likely spend more than a half hour, because once things start rolling. But this can help you step out of overwhelm, because these dolphins here and the Two of Pentacles can kind of talk about juggling resources, right? And Two of Wands, your domain is in front of you and you're surveying like the entire landscape. So you can be thinking, I've got to juggle things and looking at everything all at once. But the Emperor says we can pare it down to, all I need to do is this daily. Or just tomorrow. If you only need to take it a day at a time, do that. Tomorrow I will, and accomplish that one thing, and feel the boost in your self-esteem, the boost in your sense of power and authority. So turn your I shoulds into I will. And if you won't, then kick it out. If you absolutely will not do something, I will not, I choose not to, then accept that. But when you have things that you have to do and it's getting overwhelming, the Emperor just says, the buck stops with me. It's something I have to do, so I will do it with a will, and I will choose when I'm going to do it, and I will choose how I'm going to do it. I will choose how I spend my resources. I will choose how I create the plan to begin with. So the plan for me is I will spend a half an hour on this thing every day until it's done. And make yourself a promise. Make yourself a promise and then execute. All right. So that was, again, these two decks give very succinct answers together. And I'm digging that. I hope you dug it too. And if you did, smash that like button. Let's be a typical YouTuber for a change. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification, and go on your phone on the app and hit that bell notification so you'll know whenever I upload something. That would be awesome. And then down below, if you would like a private reading with me, please DM me from my Facebook page. There's a link down below. There is a book now button on my Facebook page that has available times. You can go in and book yourself an appointment, and they will send me a notice, and we'll get together one-on-one. If you just like the readings that I'm giving you here, see about hitting me below on my PayPal or my Streamlabs and send me a tip. Send me a donation. Nothing's too small. I appreciate everything and send you back 3 times threefold blessings for that support, because I really appreciate you guys. Okay, let me catch up. Nothing to catch up. 2 decks are gorgeous. Yes, yes. Thank you, Stephanie. Again, Stephanie, Becca, Laura, Tavia, thank you so much for supporting me. Cannot tell you how much it means. I'm going to try real hard to do a prayer circle this weekend. We'll see how that goes. You will certainly know once I schedule it. All right. Good. I'm glad you got something out of it, you guys. It's been a pleasure, as always, for me. As we move closer and closer to Samhain, I'm going to get into the Halloween decks for sure. I got the Halloween Tarot and the Halloween Oracle and the Samhain Oracle and all kinds of fun stuff to use. So, all right. Everybody have a wonderful week. And I will see you next when I do. Until then, it's Luna, and I love you all. Blessed be.